Ndị Igbo ekelekwanụ m unu. Anyị sị ka ụbọchị nkịta mara na anyị na mma. Anyị sị ka nke onye chiri ya zelụ dịka o si dị. Ihe a bụkwa Eastern News 24 ka anyị si wee wetara onye bụ ozi uru nje gị n'ugbu a n'iru akwụkwọ gbasịta maka ebe ife n'ime n'obodo anyị nọ n'ime ya anụ mkpụrụ ụwa na-azụ na ala Igbo dịka anyị si na-agba mbọ na-ewetara onye bụ ozi ka bakwarụ ka ị na-atụsị ya ka ọ na-erute ụmụnne anyị ndị n'ebe dị iche iche aka ana ka wee na-amara ife n'ime n'obodo anyị nọ n'ime ya. Alright, I agbapụ n'ọsọ wetara onye bụ this is according to the Biafran activist ozi o wetara n'iru akwụkwọ. Quote, British Parliament, EU warns Nigeria of Igbo rising strikes, not an agenda over Biafran war. Alright, and also the injustice to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's release. Alright, ya bife ka jimaki ya wee bịa n'iru akwụkwọ n'ụbọchị uruchi nke taa. Gee ntị ọfụma anyị ji nnukwu pakeji wee bịa. Ị ga-esi ebe ife tụsara anyị ozi a kụrụtụ ụmụnne anyị ndị ọzọ ntị. Alright, over to you.
2021, Mr. Nnamdi Kanu, a British citizen, was abducted by Nigerian security forces in Nairobi, Kenya. Since his detention, he has been subjected to torture and many other unpleasantries. A United Nations Rights Council report released a damning assessment of Nigeria's government's treatment and called for his immediate release. My right honourable friend from Camberwell and Peckham has worked tirelessly on behalf of Mr. Kanu and is urging the Foreign Secretary to do more to secure his release. Nigeria is a Commonwealth nation that receives tens of millions in UK aid. It is one of the biggest benefactors of aid. Part of this aid support must be a commitment to human rights and upholding the right to fair trials. Mr. Kanu must be given access to a fair and due process. A British citizen travelling on the British passport should not be kidnapped in a third country and dragged.
But yes, to an extent, and Nigeria knows that they are also tired. Nigeria itself as a nation is also tired. The Yorubas are tired. The Hausas are under the influence and conquest of the Fulani. So whatever Fulani decide for them, they will forever colonize the Hausas. The middle belt will decide whether to join Biafra or to join North. That is left for them. That is the way it is now. It has been structured. Biafrans are not going to rush into sovereignty, of Biafra as a nation. It has to be carefully planned, with the international community, because you cannot predict what is going to happen tomorrow. Look at the Sahel nations, the Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. Look at what Traoré Ibrahim, the head of state to Burkina Faso, is doing at this point in time, and he's looking at the prospects, the giants, the individualism and the ingenuity of the Igbo people in Africa to be able to put Africa in a proper perspective. There's a reason why Donald Trump is saying that the blacks in Africa should go back to Africa and develop Africa. And that is the extent, that is how I see it. And if they are making that statement, they wouldn't want to come back to an African country or nation where there is corruption, where there is killing, where the Fulanis are not allowing anybody to rest. They kill on daily basis and nobody is checkmating them. If it is in other same world, like in Bosnia or in other like in Israel or Middle East, this thing that has to do with Boko Haram for years will not be able to be sustained up to this moment. But because of it is Africa, the United Nations, the international security agencies, have continued to look the other way. Nobody wants to tell us how Boko Haram has been sustained up to this moment. Nobody wants to say anything in that direction. So if you look at it properly, you see that we are not going to repeat in a hurry the nonsense that we got ourselves trying to befriend Nigeria. We are not going to befriend Nigeria again. But I can tell you in honest truth that Biafra will be carefully planned with the support of the international community, and it will be structured in a way that it will become a reliable force that will protect the black race and Africa. And in leadership too, And that is why they are looking at before this thing get to this level where it is now. Nigeria need to have a test of Igbo mass leadership. The test longer throat and actually now they are looking for it. Now let us test Igbo leadership and see how it will look like. The Northerners are hungry for it because Igbos have endured, and inside that endurance and marginalization and suppression, the Igbo concept have thrived over the years. The Igbo continue to push, from one little point to another, or without any support from the government. But the reality now has shown that the time has come. If the reality is on ground, but I can tell you, there's no how after Bola Ahmed Tinubu power will return to the north. Be it Nuhu Ribadu, be it Rufai, that is nonsensical. What I've told you what the North is planning to do, and given this latest revelation now, they're already in emergency meeting. There's negotiations going up and down. Everybody is in struggle. Everything is on the table. What do we do to apologize? What do we do to bring Igbo? What do we do not to let them go? What do? We have wronged them. That's what is on ground now. So pushing back presidency to the north will be no good thing for now. But I can tell you in honest truth, if you look at what is actually going on, the Bola Ahmed Tinubu government is not going to be sustainable.
Thank you so much. What are your opinions?
Yes, if you look at what El-Rufai has been saying of recently, that it was Bola Ahmed Tinubu that stopped his ministerial nomination, that it wasn't the National Assembly. And secondly, that the issue of whether he's leaving APC to PDP is nobody's business, that he will decide wherever he's going to go at the end of the day. But if you look at all the calculation based on the recent arrangement with Wike over the South-South caucus meeting, where he claimed that that Wike is in charge of the PDP South-South, even though he's overseeing the APC. And then secondly, if you look at what is already building up close to a coalition of the opposition, and you begin to see what the National Security Advisor to the President, Nuhu Ribadu, what he stood for, what can actually be factored in. Nuhu Ribadu has no political image when it comes to playing politics within Nigeria. And Nuhu Ribadu can be seen as somebody who is being factored in a political arrangement just to balance a political agenda or equation, or to give regionalism or federal character a presence in the Federal Republic of Nigeria and in the government too. But let me tell you what Nigeria should understand about El-Rufai at this point in time, given the latest revelation. El-Rufai is possibly can be a tool, can be planted by, can go into agreement with Bola Ahmed Tinubu. You can see the level of campaign, how support he gave Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to the extent they were traveling over the world, traveling all over the country with the same El-Rufai. Somewhere along the line, it can be agreed. He might be collecting his money behind the scene from Bola Ahmed Tinubu and infiltrate. They want to use him as a tool to infiltrate, as an informant in the mold of the opposition merger or coalition that's already going on. So the PDP and the Labour Party and SDP and other opposition parties who are having the plan of coming with a more powerful force to fight for 2027 presidential election should be careful with the likes of El-Rufai.
Where is the future of the Igbos in all these things? If
let me tell you, the balkanization of Nigeria is what is going to attack the system itself. The continuation of propagation will give the Southeast the massive support to liaise with the Yorubas to dismantle anything that has to do with Northerners completely, and that will lead to final disintegration of Nigeria. Let me tell you very clearly that at this point now, the power cannot go back to the North, and there's no how El-Rufai will come out and begin to campaign for another Northern president. But what the calculation all over the place from my findings, Ango Abdullahi, from the Northern Elders Forum, Ariwa Consultative Forum, Pandev, Afenifere, and other, even Middle Belt Forum, Elders Forum, yes, has also come together and said that if the burden of APC continue beyond 2027, that they are going to field another candidate that is not Bola Ahmed Tinubu from the south. That's the general consensus, that's the general understanding, that's the general sentiment now. And it is going to be the way it is. I am telling you now. There is no way you are going to have another Northerner as president from if Tinubu failed to win the election. But what you are going to see is that the structural collapse of the political parties to a southern candidate. That's what we are going to see at the end of the day. And already they are looking at this direction because there is tension in the north currently now. The tension has to do with the revelation of how to ban the book written by IBB at the moment, because that book has, dismantled so many structures that are tied to an entity that has refused to work. So they might be sitting out conveniently now. There might be emergency meeting here and there on how to, patch up Nigeria, at the end of the day by making Peter Obi the next president of Nigeria from southern extraction. It might not be possibly an Igbo thing. It might not be possibly, people looking at it from that angle. The possibility of having a failed president of southern extraction has triggered the emergence and support and reliance of another southern president of southern extraction. And the whole thing is that the Nigerian masses, the youths, and of course other reliable groups of importance and relevance are championing that it is too much wickedness on the side of the Igbo, and it is time for the Igbo to actualize president. But even at that, because it is a topic we are treating, how it has come to that level. But I can tell you that the spirit of the Igbo people has left Nigeria for a very long time. It is going to be a mere cosmetic propaganda on the side of fielding and a certain president from Igbo extraction. But the one understanding the Northerners are having at this point in time is very clearly stated, from the body languages of Atiku Abubakar, who the PDP has made it very clearly to him that he will not be allowed or advised to step down or continue to seek for the candidacy of the People Democratic Party ahead of the 2027 presidential election. I can tell you, Atiku is going to hit to that, wise talk, and look at it that I needed to build a capacity from behind and be able to give that selfless statesmanship service politically to others who knows that there's always an error in everything, and that an era of transformation, of leadership, of transformation, of integrity in terms of leadership is what Nigerians need at this point in time come 2027. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not going to be an option. I think anybody reasonable, unless the man might want to decide on his own to fight with his money, to make sure he buys everybody with his money. And of course, the issue of INEC and the judicial system also. So everything, if not gotten rightly, might lead to urgent balkanization of Nigeria. And that balkanization is what we are looking at that will happen if Nigeria decide to continue in this calamity as it were in this moment.
Thank you for coming.
One thing I've noticed, Premier, while I've been here, is that Northerners seem to have, I might almost call it, obsession about the Igbos. Could you perhaps explain that to me?
Well, the Igbos are more or less the type of people whose desire is mainly to dominate everybody. If they go to a village, to a town, they want to monopolize everything in that area. If you put them in a labor camp as a laborer, within a year they will try to emerge as headmen of that camp, and so on. Well, in the past, our people were not alive to their responsibilities, because you can see from our northernization policy that in 1952, when I came here, there weren't 10 northerners in our civil service here. Then I tried to have it northernized, and now all important posts are being held by northerners.
Is this policy of filling all key posts in the north solely with northerners and not with other Nigerians a temporary or a permanent one?
In actual fact, what it is a northerner first. If you can't get a northerner, then we take an expatriate like yourself on contract. If we can't, then we can employ another Nigerian, but on contract too. This is going to be permanent, I should say, as far as I can foresee, because it will be rather dangerous to see the number of boys who are now turning from all our learning institutions coming out with having no work to do. I'm sure whichever government of the day might be, it will feel rather embarrassed, and it might even lead to bloodshed.
Doesn't this damage the idea, sir, of all people in all regions in Nigeria being fellow citizens of one country?
Well, it might, but you are, new to our region, but how many northerners are employed in the east or in the west? The answer is no. And if there are, there may be 10 laborers employed only in the two regions.
Ndị be anyị dịka unu nụrụ ife anyị wetara n'ụbọchị nketa ka efi were ikunu dị nke gị gbasịta maka ya bụ ife ndị anyị ji maka wee bịa na uhuruchi ụbọchị nketa na Escalates 24. Deela ya akara na comment section ka mara ife iche n'ụdị nke gị. Ngwa ka emesịa n'ụmụnne m.